I'm Sonny Bongiorni, and I was born in this house right back here. And my father used to farm his farm, and that's how I started. All the good ground went to the farm, so I just had to start in the swamp. So I filled the swamp in with stone, and now that's how this yard came to be. Well, a lot of people today think it's nice to have your own business and be independent. Well, it's all right if you want to go through all the heartaches and the ulcers. But the truth is, we're not all that independent, because I believe we're controlled by our economy. Today, people got one kid, maybe two. Years ago, they had 4, 5, or 6. It just seems like the economy controls everything you're going to do today. What kind of house you're going to live in, what kind of car you're going to drive, what kind of truck you're going to have, what you're going to do, where you're going to go on vacation if you do go on vacation. And I believe everything's controlled by the economy. Today, things are a little bit tougher than they used to be. Today, you got to wheel and deal with these people. They don't want to leave the money go because they don't have the money to let go. Being the Steel Valley, iron, coal, that's what all the people around here depend on. And they don't have that, they don't have anything. They just don't have enough to just keep their old car running.
My name's Dave Huber. I work here for Sonny Bongiorni, Bongiorni Auto Wrecking. And there's a sign I found here in the car one day, and I thought it was pretty decent, so I put it up there. Everybody's always worried about the deaf dog. I'm the deaf dog. Sonny calls me the deaf dog.
The big boys are always screwing you, like the corporations and that. 10 years ago, you got $60 a ton for scrap. Finished coil brings $300 a ton. Today, you get a little bit more than half of that, and a finished coil $600 a ton. What the heck? The big boys, the corporations, are always screwing you. Okay, these are the scrap motors out of the cars we've been scrapping for iron, and been working on this pile about 40 years. It's pretty big. The only reason we got it because the scrap's not worth too much anyway anymore. Goes all the way around to the end here. Well, I got to show you this now. These are all the salvage cars after we take all the good parts off, and here's what happens to them. We flatten them down, put them in piles to save space. Then if a price ever gets good, that's when we get rid of them.
Smith. We're from Mount Morris, PA. And as you can see, you're going to be in the so-called auto salvage business for a little while. We've been in this business about 23 or 4 years. Started out with nothing. This is my boy Rick. He's 22 years old. He grew up in the business, which is a lot better than I had.
This is not a junkyard, the business we have here at the moment. We try to run a salvage yard. A lot of people think, as soon as they come in the door, that we've got a junkyard. Well, we really don't have a junkyard. A junkyard, in my view, I think is a bunch of cars all stacked together on each other. Out in our yard, we mow between our cars. I have them all inventoried, so when somebody calls me on the phone, all I do is look in my book, and it'll tell me exactly what part's good and what part's bad. And when I sell a part, I mark it off. And we take a lot of parts off the cars and put them inside buildings and have everything inventoried. So, I know what we have and what we don't have. A lot of people, get that confused. They think, of a scrap yard when they think of a junkyard, but we're really not a junkyard. And it really makes a lot of guys mad in our profession because they're not junkmen. We're salvagemen. We run a business just like Kroger's or another, food chain or something like that would do.
Okay, this is a real good business if you make it a family affair, which we have. And this is not a junkyard, our place anyways. It's a salvage yard. What do you think, Rick?
Oh, definitely. We try to take everything off, have everything organized. When somebody walks in, I can tell them if we have the part, if we don't. You call a lot of places, well, we got to go out and see if we find it out in the yard. You can just go out and look around, and they got snakes in their yards and, real high trees and grass all growing between the cars and stuff, and we don't have that here. We try to mow between our cars and just, different things like that. And one other thing I want to tell you, this is not a junkyard, as you can see by our sign we have in the office.
My name's Valdine Morris. Live on Morgan's Ridge, Fairmont, West Virginia. Started this salvage yard business in 1962. It was part of my dad's farm and been in business ever since, but when I was in business to start with, everything was real good as far as selling parts, but anymore business is slack due to so many new laws, higher prices for license. And then anymore, so much theft goes on, people takes parts and everything, to where it's awful hard to stay in business anymore due to the new laws. They keep changing laws, especially the title laws they've passed here lately. It's hurt the salvage yard business awful bad. And then the price of license keep going up every year where business is lower. It's hard to say if you're legal from one day to the next, even stay in business. And another problem we have here bad with a lot of people out of work is theft problem. Anymore, a lot of times when the people are even stealing parts, they don't always get everything, but they tear up so much stuff when they steal parts. And we've had an awful big problem with the theft, and parts come up missing, and we've caught a few people. We got a few big old dogs around here. We don't have the dogs it's called the junkyard dog, but most time they do let us know when somebody's around. My dad's 95 years old, but he's always around here and he hears the dogs bark, and that slows up a little bit of our theft problem.
This is my farm. Boy, I made a junkyard out of it. Get down, get down.
This farm used to be an apple orchard, and we used to cut hay off of it. It belonged to my dad. That's about all we used the farm for. Now you can see most of it's covered with cars. A lot of the salvage yards has crushed all their cars, but being the figured the parts was worth more than to crush them, I decided to keep some of the cars. That's just like this old 36 Chrysler right here. I've had this car, one of the first cars since I've been in business. And this car used to belong to a friend of mine, which used to haul moonshine. He lived in Fairmont. He had one of the best moonshine steels there was. In fact, they got it on display. And how he got caught, he run the moonshine stuff down the sores. And it stopped up the sores. That's the way this gentleman here got caught for moonshining. This 49 Studebaker truck was a good work truck in its time. Now it's more or less just a collector's item, which is in well demand. It sits here in a fall scenery. It looks pretty good where it's at. It looked better on a showroom. The 55 Chevy is my favorite car. In its time, it was one of the better cars. Today, it's still a better car than they make today. I run the salvage yard here. I've seen the old cars, new cars come and go, but I prefer to keep the older cars. You go into most salvage yards, you don't find no old cars. And a lot of people still like to see old cars and buy parts for old cars. And that's one reason I've held on to the old cars, because most all of them you'll find out has done been crushed. I just like old cars.
My name is John Mazie. I own G&M Salvage Pool, which is a family operation. It's operated with my wife, Sandy, my two sons, Mike and Mark, my daughter, Beth, and we have 5 other employees. In July of 1983, there was a salvage title law passed. And by July 84, there were 39% of our salvage leaving the state. We do not object to regulations because without regulations of the salvage yards, the state would be one big junkyard. But why is there always an asshole in charge? Why can't there be someone in charge who knows the business and how it is operated?
My name is Sandy Maisie. I am John's wife, and I work here. I help him with the salvage pool. We've been here since 1971, and I know these salvage dealers. I don't think you'll find a more honest group of people. If they tell you they're going to give you $1, hold out your hand, and if they tell you they're going to poke you in the mouth, duck.
Because of the problems this law caused, a group of salvage dealers decided to form an association. And the first thing that I did was to send out this letter, and I would like to read it to you. As you all know, the state government has passed House Bill 1656. This bill, if left in its present form, would put all salvage dealers out of business. We suggest that it is time for us to organize an association called the West Virginia Automobile Dismantlers and Recyclers Association, which would band us together, give us the necessary power to cope with this type of situation. We feel, as a group, we can carry enough clout that we can do something to prevent them from destroying us.
A lot of the problem with the public and the salvage man is when you say junkyard, you're a second-class citizen. And they aren't second-class citizens. They're a great bunch of people, and I enjoy working with them. I don't get any bad checks. I don't have any bad debts. Well, like I say, they're just a great bunch of people. They're honest. They do their job. They work hard, harder than most. But the way it is now in the state of West Virginia, I can't see where they really have a chance to survive unless there are some changes made. And when the salvage man goes, what are you going to do with all that junk out there? I suppose that the Department of Motor Vehicles and the Department of Highways will eat it.
But this bill has affected us in this manner, that it has put people out of work. That's it.
I'm Mike Maisie. I'm John's son. This is where I grew up. This is the yard at G&M Salvage Pool. And you see the wrecks here. This was my playground. This was my schoolroom. I learned about life here. I learned about cuts and bruises and about work and what it means to have $1 and to not have $1. And I grew up a little different from most of the kids in the school classes that I was in. This is our life. We've been in it for 17, 20 years, something like that. As far as I can remember, I've been messing around cars. And the salvage business to me is something more of an education in life than a job. You deal with people from the destitute welfare, and when you say destitute welfare, they still drive a car. They can't feed their kids, but they own a car.
Welcome to Beulah, home of the Walls Salvage Company. I'm Okie Walls. Name's Okie Walls. I come up here in 48, and I just kind of got started into the salvage business. Just buying old cars and selling them. Then I got into the salvage business a little more and got a masher. And we buy scrap now. We have scales down on the hill. We buy the scrap and boys weighs it down there, and we prepare it then and haul it to Ashland, Kentucky, and Pittsburgh, or wherever the price is the best. Right now it's a little rough, but we just have to work more hours and kind of tighten down a little more. So far it's been pretty good up to this point. As far as I've done right well. I think it's a good idea to get started for yourself at least. And the junk business is about as good as I know of. Yeah, business has been pretty good. I got 3 of my sons helping me now. Son-in-law helps me. Other people around over the community haul scrap in to us. They just sell it to us just so much a ton. It is a pretty good thing for the community because it puts lots of people to work. Keeps everybody up. If they don't have their job, they can get an old truck and start hauling scrap in. And it does help them out. They can buy their groceries that way.
My name is Michael Moore. This is Paul Bartow. We work in the salvage yard for Okie Walls. Least we can say this is a job.
I worked here for a while, and then I quit and went to, quit and went to the strip job. Worked there 7.5 years, then came back here. It's a job. I don't give a damn where I work.
You can say what you want to about the salvage business, but it's an honest way to make a living.
Yeah, it's a good job.
Junk's down right now, but it'll come back up. It'll be better. The sons are in this business. My daughter, she helps with the paperwork in the office. And I think that if they stay with it, when I'm finished up, that they can make a go of it. I believe it's a good business to be into. This is part of my family. We're glad to be in the junk business.
You're supposed to wave.
I started the coal mine at 14 years old. And I worked at everything that a man could work at. Dozer operator, tractor trailer operator. And I've worked at about everything, coal mines and construction works. Now I'm in salvage business. My name's Arch Cuttle, born and raised in Braxton County. And my age is going 69 years old. I started the salvage business, bought a few old cars, And then I finally went on up and went in business. Been about 14 years I've been in business. So the last 2 years, my business ain't been no good because a lot of other salvage yards went in, Frank Miles, Kaufman, others around took my business. When it comes to get my license again, I don't know whether I'll go in business or not, so how business picks up. The last 2 years, it ain't been no good.
How much do they want for that license?
They want $200 for them now.
You gonna buy it again, Arch?
I don't know whether I will or not.
Think about operating without a license?
No, just quit. Now, if you quit, if you don't get licensed, they'll hang you. It might be the end of it, the dying junkyard. If something don't pick up, I know it'll be. And if it goes off or picks up, I might let my 2 boys sign the license over to my 2 boys.
My name's King Cullip. This is my brother Ronnie. We work for our dad Arch Cullip here in the salvage yard. And we enjoy working for him and helping him. And he's been in this business for quite a long time. And we try to do the best we can to help him to make it. And if there's anything we can help anybody with or find anything to help anybody with, well, we sure be glad to do it. Ron, you got anything you want to say?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good job to do. Something around to help Dad. Because there ain't nothing to do in this place.
I'm Arch Cullip's daughter, and I used to help him in the junkyard. I used to tow cars in for him, and I've lived here in Sutton all my life. And I used to help him junk cars, too. But here lately, the business just ain't no good.
It's been a challenging business to get into this, and it's a fun thing, you know, to learn. And my dad used to work coal trucks and do mechanic work, and that's where us guys picked it up. You know, we learned from him. And my weekends are fulfilled at times that people wants me to work on vehicles and learn things to where something new. And it's a great challenge for people to get into if they really enjoy it and get into it to, you know, to make a living at it.
If you really wanted to get in to make some good money at this stuff, you get in with the insurance company, but it takes a lot of money to get in. Some of the insurance companies don't want you to try to get in, but you just really take your time. I believe a person could get in. It's a venture to try. For a younger generation, some of the younger generation don't want to really try to make it, but you got to get out there and make it on your own. So I think it'd be a good thing to get into. And you really like it a lot. You really learn a lot of different stuff to do. It's the only way when you learn something, you got to get out there and do it. That's the way you learn it.
This is Arch Cullip. This is my junkyard. Business picks up, I'm going ahead with it.
In this business here, you never make it to the White House, but it provides a good living for my family and me, and I never have it any other way.
And as far as me liking this business, I don't think I'd trade it for anything. In fact, that's the only thing I know is cars.
And one more thing, I'm really proud of what I do. A lot of people don't like their job, but the job I have right now, I really like a lot.
Even with all the differences and all the problems that we've had in the salvage business, and even with the problems that I know we're going to have in the future, I think it's the greatest business there is. I wouldn't give up the salvage business for any other business. It has paid my bills, and it has made an awful good living for our family. Sandy?
And as he says, it does pay the bills. It is a good business. You're associated with a lot of nice people. And we are, I believe the salvage business is the 16th largest industry in the nation today. What do you think?
I think salvage business is okay.
This is my sister Beth. She helps us out here at the yard and the office. And why don't you just ask her how she likes the salvage business?
What do you say, Beth?
Well, we've been in it all my life, and I kind of like it. There's a lot of great people involved, and you get to know a lot of them real well. They're like family, so I like it pretty well.
Well, yeah, it's a pretty good job. My family and I are proud to be in the junk business.
The way I got in this junk business, me and my brother-in-law was sitting up on the porch one evening. He says, let's go around and gather up some junk. I says, there ain't no junk to gather up. He says, there's always junk. So me and him went out that evening and started looking around. Sure enough, we found junk here and there, and then we got picking up cars. And then we got a few cars, and he got called to work over in New Martinsville, so he didn't really want to fool for junk cars no more. Well, I was young, so I didn't really know how to use a torch, so I started just selling parts off of them. And then business got bad, so I didn't have that many cars, so I went to Ohio to work. Well, meanwhile, I had a couple discs removed out of my back. So when I was working in Ohio, they gave me jobs that I couldn't do, so I come back here to work here in the junkyard. My dad gave me devil for coming back because he figured anybody had a job should have stayed where they had work. So I got back here and got buying cars, and have been buying cars ever since and selling parts off of them. And of course, business, like I say, years ago used to boom. I used to be too busy, but anymore, new laws, theft, everything you put together, there's business is bad, but I'm still in the junk business. I'll probably stay in it till they either put me out or till I die. Well, from looks of things, 5 o'clock. I'll see you guys later. Better get out of here too. 5 o'clock. Dogs will be leaving.